Good afternoon, team. I am honored to be invited to give you an update on the Army National Guard. First, I would like to thank Stan Crow and the great AUS team for hosting our annual meeting of the members. Additionally, I want to thank Joe and Jack and the rest of the team that leads this incredible Army Warrant Officer Association for all the support they have given to the Army National Guard and our entire warrant officer cohort. We truly are one team, one fight. And as my friend DC would say, that's right. I thank my lucky stars to have been blessed to work side by side with such incredible leaders as CW5, Eulandria Dixon Carter, Hal Griffin, Steve Kilgore, Rick Knowlton, Clyde Wiley, Bob Davis, and many, many more from Compo One. My executive council and my entire WOSAC, the Warrant Officer Senior Advisory Council. I want to thank General McConville and Lieutenant General Jensen for always finding the time to address the warrant officer cohort. These leaders truly care about all ranks in the Army. I am proud to serve under their leadership. I would also like to welcome everyone for taking the time to watch or listen to our briefings. Next slide. Here is the agenda we will briefly discuss in the next 25 to 30 minutes. We will talk about the Director of the Army National Guard, Lieutenant General Jensen, priorities and areas of focus, and how we can utilize them within the warrant officer cohort. We will talk about the orientation course, our EC, NGB Support, the IPPS-A program, utilizing WOCS. Next slide. We will briefly talk about PME update, the top 10 report based on our DPRO, Director's Personnel Readiness Overview, and my initiatives and goals. Next slide. General Jensen is focused on end strength. He understands how important it is to fill the warrant officer vacancies to improve knowledge, skills, and behaviors for the betterment of the organization. We need to grow a quality force of technical experts. If you cannot find a training opportunity within your state, there are often other opportunities across the organization with other states, organizations, or even maybe another military service for a temporary basis. Creativity can lead to both personal and professional benefits, which lead to readiness, the director's second priority. For the cohort, please don't delay in enrolling in PME. We must ensure that training is done on the most modern equipment and we are ready, meeting the challenges of great power of competition. The Director of the Army National Guard is focused on people because without them, our end strength and readiness would decline. We all need to focus on developing professional, ethical, and caring leaders. We need to find time, which is an acronym that my friend DC uses. We need to take time, talk, inspire, mentor, and engage young enlisted soldiers early in their careers on how they can someday become a technical expert and make positive changes for the entire Army. For example, Michigan CCWO, Gabe Ambrositis, invited me to speak at their Warrant Officer Professional Development and Recruiting event. They had over 45 soldiers that were interested in becoming warrant officers. There were even E2s through E8s there. What I admired most about Gabe, he invited the state branch managers to discuss in small groups on how they became warrant officers and their experiences all through their career. All the branch managers were engaged with every soldier. What an awesome event. Well done, Michigan. Events like this create opportunities to provide a venue for conversation amongst all parties, to explore capabilities, expectations from both sides. Another acronym that Miss Dixon Carter uses says, it is never too late to start having tea with your squad. Train, evaluate, and advise. You need to make sure they understand T. At times, you need to have conversations that may make you a little uncomfortable because it may involve talking about sexual assault, harassment, domestic violence. It is not tolerated in our ranks. We also need to talk about diversity in our ranks. While everyone matters on our team, no matter if you are an E1, W1, or 4-star general, it's important to show respect and care for each other. The last difficult topic is suicide. We have lost too many soldiers, and one is too many for me. Let your soldiers know that you are there for them to talk to. Suicide is a permanent solution to a temporary problem. Think of all the people that are affected by this permanent solution. We have all been there, and it is very painful to go through. Everyone's lives matter, and getting help does not show weakness. Take care of yourself so the Army is stronger and healthier. Ensure your squad knows that you have the time. Talk, inspire, mentor, and engage. For T, train, educate, and advise. One of my mentors told me years ago, people may not remember what position you held in the military or your civilian career, but they will always remember how you made them feel when you took the time to really listen or help them. I have to say today is totally off the record, but today is my best friend Margaret's birthday. She has never served a day in the military, but she has served alongside with me. And we have been friends since 4th grade. So I took the time to text her this morning, even when I was really busy rewriting this over and over. I text her and wished her a happy birthday. And it does matter. So next slide. We just completed the CCWO orientation course for 7 new CCWOs for Compo 2. This course is designed to give senior warrant officers the tools to be successful with their new positions and offer opportunities to collaborate with other colleagues. As a new CCWO, they will talk strategy to recruit hard-to-fill vacancies, how to successfully collaborate with branch managers, discuss positive impacts from internal town halls, also how to structure workshops within the areas to facilitate the mentorship and coaching, which can clarify the CCWO's empowerment to the team. The team will also explore the importance of tracking and mentoring PME promotion requirements and awards. Finally, they look to develop the value within talent management, and that of having a strategic vision looking onward to the horizon 3 to 5 years to guide PME paths and planning position backfills. We have incredible tags that understand the important role of the CCWO. Positions plays in the 54. They want their vacancies filled, improve readiness for state, federal, and deployment missions. Thank you to all the tags that recognize who is on their command team. Next slide. We have an executive council that has the following members. The chair, CW5 Christopher Rao from Oklahoma, who has been doing an exceptional job serving in this position, and he definitely keeps me on my toes. The vice chair is CW5 Brian Searcy from Utah. just replaced CW5 Jerry Dedge from Florida in September. We are sad to see Jerry retire, but it is well-deserved. I know Brian is ready for the challenge. We have 7 regional chairs and vice chairs. We vote on everything. We make sure that all 54 understand everything that we are trying to change for the better of our warrant officers cohort for the future. These positions are usually served by CCWOs who have been in that position for over a year. The WOSAC consists of 54 CCWOs, a secretary, my XO, and the command team admin officer. I am proud to be a part of that squad. Next slide. NGB Entitled 10 Support. We are creating an org chart on who the POCs are at the OPR and the G staff level to assist the 54 with current names and phone numbers. It pays dividends to schedule visits with the National Guard Bureau and the regional reps. Next slide. All 54 states, 3 territories, and the District of Columbia are on IPPS-A. The final fielding was completed, all the fielding was completed by April of 2020. There are 3 issues for Release 2. First, the assignment process within IPPS-A is very challenging for Compo 2, as a number of internal processes are seemingly Compo 1 centric. Number 2, Army organizational server and the requirements for G1, G3 coordinations and management of the force structure need to be in sequence and together in all 54. Third, updated policy and procedural guidance to the field for NGB is standardized procedures across the 54. If we don't standardize it at NGB level, we will have 54 different SOPs for IPPS-A. So this is something we are working on in the building. Next slide. RTI WOCS program mirrors Fort Rucker. All TAC officers are trained and certified at Fort Rucker. We now have 27 Phase 1 sites, which Arkansas just came on board, and 2 Phase 2 sites. Due to COVID-19, the pandemic, the Guard lost a number of WOCS reserve seats at Fort Rucker. Our constant communication and partnership with the Commandant of the Warrant Officer Career College, Colonel Ross Nelson, has resulted in a positive relationship that remains flexible for the betterment of the organization. Of note, recently, the RTI successfully graduated over 300 candidates at both Phase 2 sites, Camp Atterbury, Indiana, and Fort McClellan, Alabama. This summer, the Army National Guard successfully conducted an accelerated WOCS course at Fort McClellan, Alabama, during COVID. There, through a partnership with America's Army Reserve, and I'm sure Mr. Hal Griffin is going to touch on that, so I'm not going to steal his thunder, but it was very successful, and the partnership will gain from that. Each Phase 1 and 2 site is responsible for recruiting TAC officers, future instructors, and support personnel and course managers. The CCWO also serves as the commandant for the RTI phases. So this is an additional duty, but very rewarding. Next slide. Warrant officers must understand the PME process. They need to train, maintain, employ various forms of technology on new equipment. They are expected to be technical experts, providing value to the forces. Warrant officers provide value to the commanders and with their technical expertise for state, federal missions and the warfighter. They are a trusted agent and advisor to the senior staff. They are combat multipliers, seasoned professionals, and I don't mind being called that. They provide stability with the unit for tactical and operational soldiers alike. When preparing to go to PME, all warrant officers should be required to complete a pre-execution checklist with their commander. They are responsible for staying physically fit, maintaining a healthy weight, and meeting all requirements before reporting to school. During this pandemic, currently, you may have to take a COVID test, be screened, and required a self-quarantine at home or at school, at the schoolhouse for 7 or 14 days. You just need to be prepared. Senior warrant officers should mentor their junior warrant officers in understanding the active component requirements. Next slide. This is my top 10 report for the 54. Congratulations to Nebraska, South Dakota, West Virginia, Utah, Kansas, and Florida for being green on this report. In the future, IPPS-A will have a similar report. Next slide. The next few pages are provided by CW4 Jennifer Fatinos. The Army National Guard's current authorization is 10,204 assigned, or we're authorized 10,204. We're assigned 8,786. We are currently holding at 86%, which is 2 percentages up for when I started. Our DA mission for this past year was 700. The NGB mission was 689, and this year we graduated 729 soldiers from WOCS from the RTI phase in Fort Rucker, contrasted with losing 566 soldiers due to retirements, the end of contract, and other reasons for the fiscal year. We've realized we have a net gain for this year in terms of warrant officer strength, and that is a good thing. Next slide. Here are the states in alphabetical order with their NGB mission and what they ended up at the end of the year. The dark green states overexceeded their mission. Congratulations to Maryland RTI for being the top state to overexceed by 13. Their mission was 11, and the end of year was 24. So great job, Maryland. Next slide. Next 2 slides. So, slide before, sorry, is fiscal year 19, and then the next slide is 20, and both of them still have the same trends. Go ahead and go to the next slide. Of the reason we lose candidates. And number 1 is land navigation. So you need to prepare your candidates at any time with somebody that knows land nav and before they have to report to Fort Rucker or the RTI phase. The second thing that they lose them off of is medical. Next slide. As a senior warrant officer, I need to acquire the talent the Army needs in technical depth and insight. We need to ensure that our senior leaders and commanders see the value in our expertise. As warrant officers, we need to be at the forefront of technology. The warrant officer program is innovative. It is different than how it was 25 years ago, and that's when I was a candidate. It is better due to senior warrant officers taking that stand back then in 1995, then to improve the process. We are planning for our future senior warrant officers as they did. We want them more successful than we are today. TRICARE for Technicians has made it into the fiscal year 20 National Defense Act for the 2030 enactment. Supported by the number of military associations, including USAWOA, NAUGUS, and Jack Dutail. Since the Title 32 technicians is required to wear the uniform every day and maintain their military status and deploy just as Title 32 AGRs, it's only the right thing to do, and it makes sense because I was that Title 32 technician for 30 years. Technician bonuses are being reviewed by the NGB G1. A white paper has been submitted by the Army Reserve Forces Policy Committee on TDY versus PCS. Compo 2 and 3 do not PCS their families to go to school, which require that soldier to maintain 2 households while attending school. This has affected recruiting efforts for the warrant officer cohort in Compo 2 and 3. I want to continue the great partnership with CW5 Dixon Carter and CW5 Hal Griffin. This is truly an A-team squad. I want to continue. I want to try to figure out what we're going to do with the prior service pilot. It was conducted in 2017 from the active component, but the Compo 2 and 3 really would like to still utilize this program, so we're looking into this. Next slide. Finally, my goals. I want to increase warrant officer strength to 90%. That's not too much to ask. Since I have now 2 more years to go, that is my goal. We're going to hit that 90% or better. Next thing I want to do is improve the communication, and I think it has improved a great deal with Title 10 and the 54 states and territories and the District of Columbia. Last thing I want to do is develop a stronger cohort that want to do what is best for our soldiers, leaders, and country. The future must ensure that we win our nation's wars. Remember to take time to praise, uplift, reward, and listen to your soldiers. Everyone is essential to our team and our success. I want to thank USAWA and AUSA for hosting this event, for listening. I am proud to be a lifetime member of both associations. I do appreciate the chance to give you an update on the Army National Guard. Always ready, always there. Pending questions. I am done, Jack.
Well, ma'am, thank you very much.
Jack,
Yes,
one
ma'am.
moment. I have a video with my boss, and I would like to play it really quick for the audience.
Fantastic.
Hello, I'm Lieutenant General John Jensen, Director of the Army National Guard. Thank you for allowing me this opportunity to provide a few brief remarks to this amazing group of warrant officers. The panelists here today are impeccable leaders in their field, and I am anxious to listen to their in-depth discussions on strength, readiness, and recruiting the next generation of leaders. Today, you will hear from one of our own, CW5 Teresa Domeier. CW5 Domeier is our 7th Command Chief Warrant Officer of the Army National Guard and the first female to serve in that role. She's an outstanding leader and shares the same sentiments as I do when it comes to positive leadership. Coming up through the ranks, I had great mentors and leaders who led through being positive, which had a lasting impact on me. Our soldiers have high expectations for their leadership, that we are competent, we are positive, and we are prepared to lead. As your panel discussions dive deep into talent management and recruiting, think about how you can have an impact in mentoring and recruiting early to the enlisted careers, who one day may lead this panel and continue to plant the seed for tomorrow's leaders in the warrant officer cohort. Thank you for the opportunity to speak and have a great discussion.
Wasn't he wonderful? Outstanding.
And he was absolutely right about his senior warrant officer leader as well. And to a point you made in your briefing, we're still working on that TRICARE Reserve Select issue. we're going to try and keep backing it up time-wise, hopefully chip away at it in future NDAAs. We do have some time for some questions. I've got one question. Someone looking for a little more explanation on the prior service pilot program you mentioned.
So that is used for soldiers like airmen, naval. The only ones that can come into the Army right now without going back to basic training is the Marines. And the prior service course that they used to do, that's what former, Air Force people would go through, the Navy, they would take that course instead of going back to basic training all over again. And the Guard we have several E7s, E8s in the Air Force, Air Guard, that truly want to be warrant officers. They have even gone to the impact of doing packets and being approved from the proponents, but they have to go back to basic training. And their E7s and E8s, they don't need that. We need that prior service course for compo, at least for compo 2 and 3. But, if we can figure it out, maybe we can have them, the active component, if they have some people that want to come over, they can come to the Guard course. But I'm not going to say that for funding reasons that we can do it yet. I'm just saying we would like to take that challenge. And General Williams, Timothy Williams from Virginia, did say that he would love to do it. So that's what I have on that.
Thanks, ma'am. Also, and I'm not going to steal my good friend Hal's thunder either, but are we having discussions? I have a question here about perhaps expanding that WOCS, accelerated WOCS that was a pilot this year?
So never say never, because Colonel Nelson works with all 3 compos, and he has been amazing. And what he does at that career college and takes in that WOCS, he understands our challenges at the Guard. And so never say never. We could do it. And, we got to see what we need and how many warrant officers need to be trained for compo 2 and 3.
All righty. And I've got another question asking about, is the scroll system really fixed? I knew you'd love that one.
So we have new leadership, and Lieutenant Colonel Combs, she and I met, and she is on board to improve the system. But she's only been there for about a month and a half or 2 months. But I know that she wants to improve the system, but I am not going to say what we talked about, but it's a good thing. And, I know she cares, because guess who her father was? CW5 Mark Marino from Connecticut, the longest serving Command Chief Warrant Officer. And so I know she has our backs. So more to follow with that one.
Well, thanks, ma'am, and we'll let you off the hook for any future or any more questions at this point. But thank you so much. And again, you're part of that marvelous senior warrant officer leadership team. So I'm grateful to have you as a friend. And thank you so much.
Thank you.